Tony, welcome to go.
Hey, Joe, how are you?
I gotta pat you down though, pal.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Got anything on you? Anything I should know?
I got nothing.
Anything weird going on?
What?
All right, you go in, Tony. Good.
Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Tom Kelly of The Tom Kelly Show. Yes, this is not the only time I've gotten on my knees in the back room of a comedy club.
The Knockem Dead Comedy Radio Show is also brought to you by Two Eagles Auto Body. For more than 25 years, Two Eagles Auto Body has been the leader in auto body repairs and customer satisfaction on Long Island. Two Eagles Auto Body handles every type of auto repair from custom applications and restorations to repairs involving insurance claims. Give Two Eagles Auto Body a call and please ask for John Rossi at 516-328-2527. That's 516-328-2527.
Hey, how do you say there, people? It's Johnny Brennan, creator of the Jerky Boys, also of Fox TV's Family Guy fame. I just want to let you know you're listening to Tony on the Knockem Dead radio show. You're gonna keep knocking them dead, so keep listening, you wacky sons of bitch. Right there. Over and out there, sweet Charlie.
Long time no see, man. Hey, man, I miss you guys, man, at Knockem Dead Comedy Radio.
Hey, Tony, you're not funny, and you probably shit yourself a lot, and you're no fun to be with, and you don't make that much money, and you're not going anywhere in show business, and I hope you get hit by a bus.
Let's give a big shout out to Tony Walker.
Tony Walker, who's a friend of mine.
Tony Walker!
Tony Walker!
Tony Walker, everybody. Stand up, Tony. Where are you? Tony Walker! Thank you so much, mate.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tony Walker. Our favorite. We love you.
Knockem Dead! Comedy show!
Let's give a big shout out to Tony Walker.
Tony Walker, who's a friend of mine.
Tony Walker!
Tony Walker!
Tony Walker, everybody. Stand up, Tony. Where are you? Tony Walker! Thank you so much, mate.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tony Walker. Our favorite. We love you.
Knockem Dead Comedy Show.
Okay, just about set here.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yep. Hi, everybody. It's the Knockem Dead Comedy Show, coming at you live from the legendary Governor's Comedy Club, right here on Gov's Comedy Club Podcast, the Facebook page, the YouTube channel. No matter where you're watching, whether it's YouTube or Facebook, we ask that you share the link on all your socials and tell everybody you know about all the great shows here on Gov's Comedy Club Podcast. All right, so Frank is here, and there's Joe. Give me a second to set up all the camera angles and to get everybody in the shot here. Hang on 2 seconds. While we
Get my good side if I got one.
you tell me. I know I don't have one.
Frank.
But,
Hey, Joe, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Good. Thanks for doing this.
It's good to know there's someone else who gets up in the morning as early as I do.
Yeah, right. Oh, God.
Not like it used to be.
No, not at all.
how
Yikes.
how early are we talking? What time did you get up today, Joe?
Today I was up at about 5:30.
Oh, all right.
I'm usually up between 4:30 and 5:30.
Wow. And why is that?
Not to mention a few times during the night that I get up to urinate. And I joined the seniors club.
Nice.
Yeah, I hear you. It's yeah, it's at least once a night. Yeah, that's fun.
Oh, well, once? Try about 5 or 6 times.
Oh, God.
Wow.
But I drink a lot of water throughout the night, so
Yes.
I'm guessing that has something to do with it.
Yeah, you and me both, pal. You and me both. All right, hang on. Just about set here. Let me do that. Let me do this. What am I? Hang on 2 seconds. Hang on.
Yep.
I mean, we are live already, but everybody's used to me not knowing what I'm doing here. So
That's all right. I'll fit right in.
yeah, absolutely. Hang on, I'm having trouble getting everybody in the screen.
I'm in no rush. I'm home, so that's good.
Yeah, right.
Okay, good. All right, we're gonna go with that. Okay. All right, and I think we're good to go. And let's see, boom. Okay, good enough. All right, everybody, we're gonna get started here. Thanks for tuning in this morning on Gov's Comedy Club Podcast, coming at you live from the legendary Governor's Comedy Club. Frank is here, of course, and our guest today is musician Joe Scollo, ladies and gentlemen. If you're not from this area, you might not know who Joe is, but if you are on Long Island and you don't know Joe, or at least his band Full House, well then I don't know what you've been doing with yourself for the past several years. Full House, arguably one of the top bands on Long Island, definitely of the past, what would you say, 30 years, Joe?
More like 45.
45?
Wow.
1977, January, first gig.
Holy cow! What were you, 6?
I think I got a couple of years on you guys.
Damn.
At least a couple.
And where was that first gig?
I was 20 when I started the band.
And where was the first gig?
At a place called PJ's on Main Street in Farmingdale.
Okay.
And that was Peter McGowan, who later became the supervisor of the town of Islip and then got indicted for something.
Oh, gosh. Whoops.
Was that an omen or what? That's crazy.
I don't know. He didn't seem like that type of guy to me. I mean, I never, especially in the beginning, we had a manager, so I never really dealt with the owners more than, hey, how's it going? What time you want us to go on?
Yeah, right. which is a smart way to go. Wow, so 45 years. That's incredible. Full House. You and
we started just so I give you a little bit of our genesis.
Sure.
Played at Farmingdale College, and it was called the Ramsden, the bar that they had there. That was, early '77. We started playing there and became like kind of a house band there. All the OBIs, we had a contract with Bob Matheson, the owner, where we played the East, West, North, and South. And then for a year or two, we had a place called Redford's in Rocky Point, which was in the sticks at that point. And I think we played there once or twice, and there were like 7 people there total. So that place didn't last too long. But then I don't know if you guys remember the Solomon Grundy's chain.
Yeah, that rings a bell. Yeah.
We had one in Massapequa, one in Rockville Center, one in Island Park, and one in Bayshore. And we had a contract with them too. And then, Dublin Pub, Mulcahy's before the first expansion.
Yeah.
Rum Runners in Oyster Bay.
Yep.
Wooden Ships Inn in, what was it, Glen Cove or Glen Head. And so many venues,
I find that interesting that you mentioned that you had contracts. I mean, nobody does that now.
Well, like I said, at that point when we first started, we had a manager who was like I really had the gift of gab, this guy, Joe Wood. And he befriended Bob Matheson, the owner of the OBI.
Yeah.
And, they were very strict there. They had their rules up in the dressing room, what songs you could play, what you couldn't play.
Wow.
Beatles, early Beatles and Beach Boys was good, but Led Zeppelin and Pink Floyd and the head music they didn't want you to play, but we bucked that trend many times.
But I'm just surprised that it would even get through the door. I would think that as soon as somebody says contract, the venue would be like, okay, see you later. That just surprises me.
I'll be honest with you. I wasn't really aware of a paper contract. I was just like, our manager just said, hey, I got you gigs at all the OBIs.
That's great.
And all the Solomon Grundy's, which I don't know if he had a contract with, but, and, many other venues. I mean, we had, as you guys probably know, there was so many venues for live music back then.
Yeah.
That all the bands were working 5, 6, 7 nights a week. So we really didn't get a chance to go out and see the other bands. And likewise,
Yeah.
I eventually did.
Is that what is that one of the reasons why you think you guys, again, Full House, one of the biggest bands ever, on the local scene? I mean, obviously you guys are a great band, play great songs, but do you think it's just a mixture of all that between hustling?
It was a mixture of that early manager, Joe Ward, who did a great job because he had that gift of gab and he got us, into all these places. So I got to give him credit for that. And then the material that me and the bass player Bob Soley, who I don't know if you guys know me, played bass with Street Fighter for many years up until about 3 years ago. We just had this broad taste in music. We initially connected on our love of the Beatles, but then it led to, the Beach Boys, Dave Clark 5, all those 60s bands. And then when it was new, all the 70s classic rock that was out at the time, Allman Brothers, Deep Purple, Zeppelin, like we just had a broad palette of music that we loved. And we were able to play it, authentically.
Yes.
And that was probably the biggest thing that got us off the ground and then continued, to this day that I can still work.
Right. And then, because eventually, too, you expanded, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys eventually started doing weddings and not just bars,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Well, that part of the material, when I went to the audition that started Full House, it was through the Good Times paper. And there was, I saw a bass player and drummer looking for a guitar player and keyboard player. And I forget the other details of that, but I was like, hey, this sounds good. I had just left a band, I don't know if you guys would remember, in 1976 called the Rhythm Jesters. And they were one of the big disco bands at the time. They had their own club in Bayshore, which became Sundance.
Oh, wow.
And it was called Jester Street back in the 70s and early 80s. And I, when disco music was coming in like 1975, 1976, when I was graduating high school. I was like, wow, some of it, just struck my ear, like the harmony and just the production. And so I learned, you should be dancing and heaven must be missing an angel to Boris, like when they first came out.
Right.
And that we would mix that with the Beatles and the Stones and Boston and the new classic rock that had been around since like the early 70s, but was still new and still coming out. So we were able to pull off all that diverse material pretty faithfully with just four guys, just bass, guitar, keyboards, drums, and everybody sang. That's always been the core of Full House.
Right.
But
and that was a roundabout way of telling you, yes, that's how we started to get into weddings. People would come down to our club gigs and be like, hey, you guys do weddings? And I was like, well, we do now. And
Right.
it started from that. And,
Yeah, you pay, we're coming. We don't care where it is. And then, of course, like any other band.
and weddings paid more than the clubs. I mean, we were at good point back in the day, back in the like late 70s, 80s, where we were making good money in the clubs, but it wasn't comparable to like what Twisted Sister or Rat Race Choir was making.
Right.
But it was good, and we were only a 4-piece band. Then when the weddings came in, we were making 2 to 3 times more to do a wedding. I'm like, hey, we can do this. So it started from that.
Yeah. And I would think too, especially, I would probably, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I would say mid to late 80s to even maybe early 90s was like, I don't want to say peaked, but that was like your height of popularity.
Our most fruitful, successful period was from about late 1988, when the drummer at the time, who was at least 5 years younger than us, Charlie Viagas, joined, and through a friend of mine, Phil Gullo, who they used to, Charlie used to bartend at February's. And Phil, who I befriended because I graduated with his first wife, Sylvana, and Phil saw the ad and he goes, Charlie, he goes, audition for these guys. My wife knows this guy Joe, and he goes, it seems like the perfect situation for you. So I think he was 25 at the time, and we were like in our early 30s at the time. And that was late 88, early 89. So from that period when he joined the band, from let's say 1989 to 1998 when he left, that was our most fruitful period where we all the engine was running very smoothly.
It seemed like, you guys were, you mentioned Twisted Sister, Rat Race Choir. Twisted Sister, had, all sorts of success, but you guys on the Long Island scene, first off, it seemed like you guys were, it seemed like no matter how much I went to Dublin Pub, it seemed like every time I was there, it was either you guys or Jane Doe. But and you guys were, and you guys were just like, you guys were almost, just on the island scene at least, celebrities in your own right. You guys were just like, that was the band to see at that time.
Yeah, and you just mentioned Rat Race Choir. Let me just go back even further. When I was 6 years old, still living in Brooklyn, I saw the Beatles on Ed Sullivan's show. I was 6 years old. I remember being a foot away from our black and white DNA TV and not being able to articulate it, but I remember that feeling right now when I'm telling you. I remember that feeling of, oh my God, this is so cool. Not saying to myself at that point, oh, this is what I'm going to do, but just knowing there was magic in that. Then when we moved to Long Island in the summer of '64, there was like a band, maybe not that year, but the next year, there was at least one band practicing in their garage on every block. Then you'd hear House of the Rising Sun, and you'd hear the Stones, Satisfaction the Last Time, and whatever. And for all those years into the early 70s, that's what I heard. And then I started my first band in '72 when I was a junior in high school. The next thing that hit me was there was a band a few blocks up that used to rehearse that lived behind where my aunt lived. And they were called, you guys probably wouldn't remember, but if you were around at the time, you would. The name of the band was Calhoun.
No.
And they were doing all like Grand Funk, Rolling Stones, the music from Derek and the Dominoes album, all this cool stuff. And me and my first drummer would go over there in the summer, and whenever we heard like the bass, we could feel the vibration blocks away. And we gotta go watch them. And we'd wait for them to hopefully open up the dual garage doors, and then we could see them where they had 4 voice of the theater speakers, and they were just unbelievable. That was the next time where I was 13 or 14 years old, and I said, this is what I want to do. And there were beautiful girls hanging out outside, and I'm like, yo, this is it. You know,
it's all motivation for anything.
Yeah. And the next time was 75, when I was a senior in high school, when I saw Rat Race Choir at a place called UB's OTJ in West Islip on Sunrise Highway. And the album had only been out maybe a week or two, and they opened up with Kashmir, and it blew my socks off. And to me, they were and are the, as far as cover band or whatever you want, concert band, those were the guys. The classic lineup of Mark Hitt on guitar, God rest his soul, Larry McGowan on keyboards, God rest his soul, Jamela, still with us, thankfully, and who was the other one? And Steve Longo.
Steve Longo on drums, right? Yeah, great band.
Those were my 3 big moments. I've had others since, but in my formative years of being a musician, I always go back to that as like, okay, that
is that your
something I want to do?
Do you, for lack of a better term, do you have a quote unquote real job, a daytime job, or is it?
Never really did more than
really.
In the early days, more than for like 3 weeks or a month at a time when I, just tried it out and it didn't last.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Wow.
But not since. I haven't had any job other than this since the early 80s, I'm going to say. That's
living the dream right there, man.
Yeah, right.
Well, it hasn't always, it's been a nightmare at times. But,
oh, yeah. I mean, I hear you. It's the music world and the comedy scene. I say it all the time on here, at this show, that it's a very similar world, because I'm in the comedy world. I'm here at Governor's right now. But, of course, with my brother and knowing a lot of musicians, it's a very similar worlds. But and it's not, it's not always easy. A lot of ups and downs. And
I would say your world, being a comedian, is probably the only other thing I could think of that would be even tougher because you're on your own. Just with a microphone, no effects. You just and I've always had a great relationship with comedians.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, it's a hard gig, and I do a lot of comedy shows. With a cast, scripted shows, and at least that's like a band. At least you have somebody to lean on if you're not at your, if you're having difficulty. But still, I mean, to be able to say that you've made a living, again, ups and downs, and there's plenty of times when you're on the up and you think this is it, I'm finally going to stay up, and then 2 days later you're down again, and it's a very we all go through that, but to sit back now and say that that you've survived it and made survived it.
I'm very thankful that at this point in my life and career that I'm on one of those ups, and I'm going to do everything I can to keep it that way for as long as I can do this.
Of course.
But the longer you go on, the more you appreciate those ups and the more you learn from your downs too.
Yes, exactly right. I agree with that 100%. So sometimes I'm actually glad that I didn't, and not to sound conceited, not to say like I have the ability to be a big star, but either way, I'm just sometimes I'm glad I didn't hit that status because cause sometimes I watch celebrities, I'm like, oh, they're so out of touch, and it makes me nuts. Yeah. like this Will Smith's jerk son wearing that house thing at the Grammys the other night. That thing cost $4,600. That thing.
Let's not even talk about music and comedy in today's world and could try to compare it to what we came of age in.
Well,
Right?
and, you know,
there's no comparison.
and normally I'd agree with you, but I have to say I was all excited. You know, the Grammys the other day, Bob Marley, the Rolling Stones, and the Beatles all won Grammys this year.
Right.
So, you know, we're still, us old guys are still kicking, baby.
Well, I ought to tell you something. It's like, you know, when all those ones you mentioned are either passed away or in their 80s,
Yeah.
and they're still winning awards in today's environment, you know?
Right.
And
Right.
there's a reason for that, because it's great and it's classic.
When the Stones' Hackney Diamonds came out last year, I said it, man. As soon as I heard it, I was like, this is one of the best albums they've put out
Yep.
in years.
Yep.
I freaking loved it. And even McCartney's on it.
Yep. I just saw the Stones back in May.
Oh, yeah?
At you know, the Jersey with Meadowlands or whatever it's called now.
Yeah, right.
Unbelievable. It took Jagger like 2 or 3 songs to where I was watching the screen to where he got his bearings, and then it was unbelievable. Man.
I can't even imagine what they must be pumping into these 80-year-old men so that they can put on this show. It's crazy.
You know what? Keith Richards was clear-eyed. He had to sit down on a couple of songs, but he was smiling, and you could tell he was definitely clear-eyed and clear-headed. And Jagger's always been like a fitness nut.
Oh, yeah. and let's not shortchange Ronnie Wood, man. What a great guitar player.
I
man.
love Ronnie Wood.
Me too. Yep. That's cool.
That's a guy you'd want to hang out with. Of all the guys in the Stones, I would love to just go out with him, just talk to him for a night.
Yes. Yeah, he does. He seems like one of those guys that just seems like you've known him for years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. And except, you know, and you know he must be clean because his hair's not as wild as it used to be. It looks like he's actually combing it now.
Yeah, the rooster look, the Rod Stewart look.
Exactly. All right, now let me ask you. I'm gonna play a video in a second of you solo. Now, am I
okay? That's my promo video that I did a couple of years ago.
Right, but now I just saw something on Facebook, and I'm not sure if I read it right. It's promoting a gig. Did I read it right? That it's your debut solo gig?
No.
Yeah, see, that's what I thought it said.
You probably mixed up. I also have been promoting. I was going to talk about it later. I'm doing this US UK classic rock show tribute, and we're debuting down in Boca, in Florida, on Sunday, March 2nd.
Right.
So you might have mixed. But the other thing is, might have been last week. I debuted at Bistro 495, which is the bar inside Holiday Inn in Plainview. So
that's what it was. Yeah. Oh, so when you said debut, it was just your first time there.
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
okay.
Yeah. They're under new management and ownership, and they're trying to get the live music thing going there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So that was before I play that video. That too. You guys, Full House is the band, but you guys branch out and do other projects, right?
Well, yeah. That that was, I mean, like I said, me and this guy Bob Soley started the band, but he was only with the band for 6 years, and then I kind of became the principal, and then my friend Keith, who I wanted to get on here, but he said he's got his doctor's appointment, who was with me for over 40 years, my keyboard player, became my de facto partner since the early 80s.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So what's that, like 45 years.
But so what decides, like, if you're going to do a solo gig or do a gig outside the band? Is it money? Is it based on what they're looking for, the people are looking for? Like what how do you decide?
The reason I started this US UK tribute is because Full House, the drummer who I told you about, who joined us back in the late 80s, Charlie, he passed away about 8 years ago. The bass player from that period, from 88 to, well, actually he was with me till early 2000s, Angus McGeckran, he moved down to Florida about 20 years ago.
Son of a bitch.
And Keith, my partner, has, and he's got an illness now that I don't really want to talk about.
Okay.
So, but through musicians who I've known and have been in the band through the years, I put together this tribute thing. So I'd have an outlet for a band, for a band to offer not so much clubs, but theaters, outdoor concerts, the place we're doing down in Florida. And then, but everything that glues it together now is me doing my solo thing. And sometimes doing with Rich Naso, who's on your show next week.
Oh,
guitar player. He does a lot of duos with me. Keith, my keyboard player's younger brother, Drew, I do a lot of work with him, and they're both a part of the US UK tribute. So I have a lot of different musicians that I know. George Cintron, even Randy Jackson, where we're going to be doing some duo shows this spring and summer too. So, but the solo thing is what everything springs from.
Very nice. All right, so let's. I'm going to play that. I'm going to play that now. I am going to let you guys know that even though I'm playing the video, you guys can still be heard. So, so Joe, if you want to badmouth Frank, just let you know that everybody's going to hear it. So,
Nice.
Okay. I've been waiting for this.
All right, so here we go. We're going to play. This is the promo for Joe Solo. Solo.
Everybody, listen to me and return me my ship.
Should I be able to
I'm your captain. I'm your captain. Though I'm feeling
I've seen it enough.
mighty sick. Here comes the sun. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun. And I
So
say
Frank, you want to make fun of
it's
me now?
alright.
No.
I don't care. I'm an easy target.
Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Oh yeah, all right. Take it easy, baby. Make it last all night. She was an American girl. You know I keep you amused, but I feel I'm being used. Oh, Maggie, I couldn't have tried anymore. Come and get your love. 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 I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain? I wanna know, have you ever seen the rain coming down on a sunny day? It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. And I feel fine. Mama's got a squeeze like she wears on her chest. And when daddy comes home, he never gets no rest. Cause she's playing all night. Yeah, the music's alright. Mama's got a squeeze. My daddy never sleeps at night. Ooh, baby, baby, it's a wild world. Hard to get by just upon a smile. Ooh, baby, baby, it's a wild world. Working on a night move, trying to make some front page driving news. Working on a night move. It was summertime. Oh, let the sun beat down upon my face. Stars to fill my dream.
What
I
song do
am
we
the
have, Frank?
traveler of both time and space.
Oh, okay, we're almost there.
Be where I have been. If you could only see the way she loves me, maybe you would understand why I feel this way about our love. What I must do. If you could only see how blue her eyes can be when she says she loves me. Mr. Right for no other man, and I believe in the promised land. Yeah, I believe in the promised land. Said I believe in the promised land.
Well done. That was great stuff. That is Joe Scollo, ladies and gentlemen. We have in our comments here on YouTube, we have Ann from California saying, you're awesome, best wishes. We have John in Florida wants to know, where in Florida are you going to be on March 2nd?
Oh, perfect. Going to be at the Funky Biscuit in Boca Raton doing the, maybe you could, if you're still watching, maybe you could play some of that US-UK video.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely on the list. We're definitely going to play that.
So, yeah, tell them it's Sunday, March 2nd at the Funky Biscuit in Boca.
Very nice.
In Florida are you going to be?
And, yeah, all right, Ann. Now, Ann in California, she said she might just come to Florida to see you. She just said she was, Joe rocked me. Yes, he did. That's what I like to hear.
And that was without the band.
Well, yeah, you know,
Wow,
maybe.
Thank you. What's her name?
Her name is Ann. She's out in California.
Thank you, Ann.
So Ann was either sitting on a speaker or they're just having an earthquake in California. I'm not really sure. So hopefully one of the two. Do you play songs that or bands that you're a fan of, or songs that you like, or are there songs that you feel you have to learn out of necessity?
Both. At this point, though, it's more what I'm a fan of, and I know that I could do well.
Right. Yeah.
You know, back in the day, we did everything from. I'm going to embarrass myself a little bit here. We did Baby Jane, Rod Stewart.
Yeah.
I think the year was 1982 or something, or 83. We did Thriller, Michael Jackson, which
really
was a big undertaking, and we did it really well. We did Keep Feeling Fascination by the Human League.
Oh, wow.
We did what was that Boy George song?
Do You Really Want to Hurt Me?
No, the other one.
Karma Chameleon.
No. Oh shit. It was even worse.
Miss Me Blind?
I'll Tumble For You.
Oh, my goodness.
But we also did a lot of that new wave. We did that song Major Tom, but
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
You know, I'll Melt With You. Really cool songs. One of our selling points was we would do a lot of the one-hit wonder bands songs. Like we did What Do All the People Know by the Monroes. And people thought that it was our original.
Oh, wow.
And also Vehicle by, I'm the friend, the stranger in the black sedan. What was the other band with the Finn brothers, the early?
Split Ends. Right, yes.
And then they had another band in the 80s, but the Split Ends song, we did that, I Got You, That's All I Want. And people loved it. They thought that we wrote them. Like, I wish I did. You know?
Yeah. I think I'm one of the few people in this world that hate that I'll Melt With You song. So many people, especially if you're...
a lot of people do, but there's a lot of people who love it.
Yeah, there are. Especially if you grew up in the 80s. It just seems like most people love it.
We did a lot of those, songs that kind of walk the line. And I was like, the hell with it. Like people wanted to hear it and dance to it at a wedding. So we did it in the club, and most of the crowd loved it.
Oh, yeah, whatever pleases them. Absolutely.
We do that beside a song like Foreplay in Long Time Boston. That was our drawing card. Wow, I can't believe they just did that. And we do Sweet Caroline and then You Shook Me All Night Long.
Well, right. And I mean, that was actually one of my questions here. Because I have another video here of you guys doing, I think it's Delilah.
Yeah.
Like, how do you go from playing Kashmir to Delilah?
Like I said, that I grew up on a radio. My friends still call me Casey Kasem because I know the years when they come out, who wrote it, you know, and I always loved Tom Jones, you know, and I'm like, wow, this would be a great song to do at a wedding. I think we've done it in clubs, not that often, but my roadies at the time were another story. They were more entertaining than the band. The one roadie, do you know who Terrence Ricker is? He's got a band called Witch's Brew.
Oh, I know that band. Yeah.
And they play in Oceanside. And he was like 16 years old. He was one of our roadies. And when we played Delilah at weddings, he'd go, Joe, it's the Power Walls from Hell.
Yeah.
I bet. But it is, to me, in my opinion, that's like Sweet Caroline. That like it's always a crowd pleaser. Like it just lifts them up.
You know what? I have also, I mean, you want to go all the way the other way. I have a tribute now, too, called The Great American Songbook, where I do Tony Bennett and Frank Sinatra and Bobby Darin and that whole. So, you know, I grew up in a house where, you know, I was listening to my Beatles and Stones when I was like 7, 8 years old, but my parents were playing Sinatra and Perry Como and, you know.
Hey, that's good stuff. I mean, you know, I will admit, and it's not you guys, it's just the song itself. I know we have a video here of you guys doing A Whole New World, which it's the song itself makes me want to puke. Not you guys, but Perry Como and Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, that stuff, that's good stuff.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I'd listen to that all day compared to A Whole New World. So, and again, nothing against you guys.
No, I know what you're saying. A lot of our longtime followers, they like, you know, they're at the age now, you know, where they're in their late 50s and 60s now, and they're ready for it now. They're like, oh no, this is nice, you know.
Right.
I can kind of I remember one time, I think, if I remember right, I think Keith one time at a gig did I Want to Be Sedated in the style of Sinatra.
Yeah, yes. I have a recording of that. Where he changed the words around.
Yeah.
He would start with that just on piano. 20, 24 hours ago. And then he'd finish it. He would do a short version. And then he'd come out front. 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's very funny.
That's great.
Yeah, very funny. All right, so I'll play Delilah in a second, but before I do that, I'm gonna switch gears for a second.
Okay.
How excited are we that Pete Alonso finally signed?
Oh yeah. Yes.
Absolutely.
And that's a fair deal. 2-year contract, you know.
With an opt-out after this year.
I'm so glad that they finally got that done.
Yep, me too. That guy was the heart and soul in the clubhouse. He plays well here. He can handle New York. He loves New York.
He improved a lot at first base too. Right?
Yep. Underrated first baseman, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, his numbers weren't his best numbers the past year or two, but now I think he's gonna step it up this year. I really do.
That would have been really deflating if they didn't sign him.
Yep.
Now they got back to back lefty righty. You know, Soto, Alonso, or you know the other way around.
Which is why I think he'll have a good year.
Around that.
That's why I think he'll have a good year because they're not going to pitch to Soto and then they'll pitch to him. So
and they're going to make everyone else better.
Yes, absolutely right. And then speaking of the Mets and Citi Field, the big announcement this morning. Did you guys hear it?
I saw it.
August 21st at Citi Field. Billy Joel and Sting.
Oh, all right.
That's a great show right there, man.
You know, I told Frank and he sent me the video. You know, I played with Billy at the Walden Wood show way back when.
Walden Wood. So we're talking what, like early 90s?
October 91.
You know, I might have a recording of that somewhere.
Well, if Frank does, because he sent it, his version is a lot clearer than the copy I have.
Oh, no kidding.
It's on YouTube.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
So if I go on YouTube and find that, like I could see you in it?
Well, what is it under, Frank, on YouTube?
I gotta look it up. I don't remember.
Well, Bill Joe Walden Woods, right?
Yeah, if you look that up.
1991.
How did that?
No. If you put in Joe Scollo, Madison Square Garden, 1991.
How did that come about?
I was good friends with Tommy Burns, but you know, from like the mid '80s through that period, he used to come down a lot and jam with Full House. Like he'd come down. We were doing all that like Hard to Handle and all that guitar stuff. So we would do the 2 guitar thing, and me and Tommy became drinking buddies. And then when he had just finished the Stormfront tour, was his first tour with Billy.
Tour with Billy, right?
1989 or 90. They had just played Yankee Stadium. I didn't know this at the time, but he had come down to Dublin Pub a few months, well, no, probably a year before that or so. And he's like, Joey, I got an audition with Billy Joel. He goes, a guitar player and a piano player's band. He goes, can you show me some of the songs? Because we did a lot of Billy back then. And I would play the sax solos on guitar. So I go, yeah. I go, oh, you want me to, come over and we'll go? He goes, no. Just do a lot of Billy Joel in your set and I'll watch.
Wow.
Jeez.
That's funny.
That's crazy.
So then when Don Henley called Billy after Billy's tour was over and said, hey, I did that Lighthouse thing out of Montauk with you. Basically it's time for payback. I'm doing this Walden Woods benefit, and will you play? And Billy hadn't played the Garden in 5 years at that point. So Tommy called me up and he goes, hey, Joey, he goes, what are you doing next Monday? And I already knew. And I'm like, I don't know why. What do you got? He goes, Billy just called me and he told me about it, that we're doing this Walden Woods thing. And Billy had just, I think, fired the lead guitarist, or the lead guitarist, I think, was David Brown.
Yes.
And he left to join Paul Simon. So now Tommy's like, well, I could go from rhythm guitar to being a lead guitarist. So Billy said to him, do you want to do it yourself or do you want another guitar player? And Tommy's like, no, I want another guitar player, rhythm player. So Billy goes, okay, find somebody. So Tommy called me. And
wow.
That was my 15 minutes of fame. 2 nights in a row, so I had 30 minutes of fame.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
David Brown, who we just lost a few months ago, so rest in peace to David Brown. Very nice man, David Brown. Very nice man.
And a great guitarist, too.
Yeah, absolutely right. Played with a number of people. He actually plays on Big Shot, uncredited. That's actually him playing lead guitar in that.
Is it really? Yeah. That doesn't surprise me. Yeah.
But then what happened? You couldn't you didn't go to Tommy. He's like, Tommy, can I keep this gig or what? Because Tommy was the sole guitar player for a while.
Took off for I think that was 91. His next album was River of Dreams in 93.
Right.
I think Tommy was the only guitarist who played on that. And that bothered me for a little while, but I remember at the time when I told the band, they were all like, oh yeah, you're going, and I'm like, I'm kind of, now the years have passed, I'm like, you know what? It wasn't meant to be. I played at Madison Square Garden 2 times, and my band was at, still peaking at that point. So,
and to be able to say, I mean, really, if you look at the numbers, if you count how many people actually played on that stage, it's really not many. Can you just describe what it must have been like to play on that stage in front of probably a sold out crowd?
I'm gonna tell you something right now. When I was a kid, probably even before I just started playing in a band, when I was taking guitar lessons, when I'd go to sleep at night, I'd be praying. I go, someday I'm gonna play at Madison Square Garden. I am not making this up.
Yeah.
And I go to sleep, and every night I would do that. Then it stopped. But then in 91, I got to do it 2 times in a row. And being on that stage, especially the second night, I was taking it in because I'm like, here's what you've been asking for. Take it in, remember it. And, and I let it sink in. And
yeah.
Even though it was only for, a minute time in my life, I'm like, you know what? You did it. However
exactly.
It came out,
Right.
Did you?
I'll always thank Tommy and my friend Louis Appel, God rest his soul, who I went to high school with, a drummer. When Tommy asked him at the time, he goes, who should I get? Because there were 2 other guys. This guy, George Manto, I forget what the name of his band was at the time, and Huey Carroll, who Tommy had played in the Rockabilly band with you know, back in the day with Brian Setzer's brother Gary,
Right.
And so those were the other two guys that he was considering. And he said to Louis, he goes, "What should I do?" And me and Louis had an on-off relationship, and he's like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Because fucking Scollo, he's the one for it. And so between those two, I got my, you know.
Did you have any conversations with Billy at all, or?
Just you know, with the rehearsal and stuff, and he was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a. I don't. Tommy, I don't know if Tommy Burns knows me by name, but he definitely knows me by face. And I used to go see Big Shot quite often. And
when he was still playing with Big Shot.
Yeah. And my favorite Tommy Burns story is one night we were at the Paramount. Big Shot had played, and we were hanging out after. I had, like I said, I used to go see them a lot, so I used to be one of the people that were allowed to stay and hang out, you know, afterwards. And like you said, you know, you were drinking buddies with Tommy. I think Tommy, you know, had pounded a few back.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And we were, you know, just sitting around having some laughs. And somebody wanted to take a picture. It was probably about 20 of us, and somebody wanted to take a picture. So we're all gathering around. And he yelled to me, he's, you know, come over here. And he wanted me next to him in the picture. I was like, okay. So I go next to him, but he puts his arm around me, and he pulls me in, and he leans in, so he's about to whisper in my ear, right. and I'm really thinking, oh, Tommy's gonna, like, I'm gonna get deep with Tommy here, or he's gonna say something really cool to me, or something really nice, and so I'm like bracing myself, like, you know, what is Tommy Burns gonna say to me? And he just leans in and he goes, "Fuck you." I laughed my ass off.
Yep, I had so many moments like that with Tommy, and one was after the first or second rehearsal at SIR for the. He had a rehearsal on the Saturday before, without Billy, just so the band could run through,
right.
And then Billy came on Sunday, and we ran through some of the songs when we were just parts. He's like, "All right, that's good enough." So after it was either the Saturday rehearsal. No, it's probably the Sunday rehearsal. Tommy's like, "Hey, Joey, we're going around the corner for some drinks." Now, I had a wedding booked on the Saturday and the Sunday on Long Island.
Oh, wow.
Long story short, and maybe 15 big shots of Jack Daniels later, I decided, Tommy, I got to go, man. I got to get to this wedding. Long story short, I got to the wedding about an hour and a half late.
Oh.
And the one night, I got into an accident with my brand new minivan at the time. And, you know, because I was like, wow, I just met Billy Joel. I rehearsed with him. So I'm like, I got time. And it didn't turn into a good thing. But years later, I met the father of the bride for the one wedding where I was really late to. And he was very cool. He goes, "I knew what was going on." He goes, Don't worry about it." And then a few years ago, the woman now, whose wedding I was late to on the Sunday night, hit me up on Facebook. And she goes, "You don't know who I am, pa." And then I apologized to her on Facebook. She's like, "We're going to come and see you." So I resolved both of those bad situations. So.
Nice. Very nice.
Wow.
I'm not blaming Tommy Burns on that, but I am.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we should blame him. That's fine. Let's do that.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I'm going to throw a video on. I think this is Delilah. I'm pretty sure this is Delilah. If not, who cares? We'll just play a good video.
Yeah.
All right, enjoy. We'll be right back.
My.
I saw the light on the night that I passed by her window.
Next place, Frank, if you want me to.
I saw the flickering shadows of love on her blind.
If you don't, we'll blame it on Tommy Burns.
My woman. As she deceived me, I watched and went out of my mind. Delilah. Why and she opened the door. She stood there laughing.
Just got invited to somebody's party, but I don't know who they are.
And she left no more.
I'm just texting. Please refresh my memory.
Yeah.
She left no more.
Time. The name sounds vaguely familiar. Yeah. We'll see.
Delilah right there by Full House. That was fantastic.
But thank you.
Of course. Absolutely. All right.
No women threw their underwear at the screen, did they?
Not yet, but they will. And yeah, speaking of women, I mean, who is that in that? Who's singing with you in that video? Who is that?
That one was Lynn Quitelli Saberhagen, who married Brett Saberhagen from the Mets, 97.
That's Brett Saberhagen's wife?
Delilah, yeah, that was from 94.
If you say so.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that's Lynn.
Wow, I didn't know he had a wife that sang. Like, wow.
Yeah.
Which
he met her at Dublin Pub.
No kidding, really?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's wild. I had no idea.
And that was singing with a band that you might know of before Full House. Two bands, Rosanna and Paradise Alley.
Paradise Alley, I remember. Yeah,
I remember them. Yeah,
pop bands. Yeah, but we used to play out in the Hamptons, out on Dune Road. We would play at Neptune, and they'd be at the club right across the way, Summers. And on the break, she would come over. We hadn't had a female vocalist for like the first 15 years of the band.
Yeah.
So I guess that was like early 90s or late 80s, maybe even mid 80s. Yeah, no, it had to be late 80s, early 90s. And she'd come up, she'd say, "Hey, Joey, can I sing a song with you?" And we'd bring her up, and then she became the first, like serious female singer we had. She was with us for probably about 6 or 7 years.
Wow.
Nice.
I always assumed Brett Saberhagen set up roots on Long Island just because he was with the Mets. I had no idea.
Well, he did, but then he liked it. He lived in a house in Babylon,
right,
where I'm from, that Barbra Streisand was gonna buy.
No kidding.
Down on the water, and I guess when they got married, he said, "Hey, I like it here." But then the Mets traded him, for a lot of reasons.
Yes.
He had some great parties. So.
No kidding.
And then when they got divorced in 2002 or 2003, he moved back to California where he was from.
Oh, okay. But that was actually, that worked out perfectly, because that was what I was going to ask about next. I looked at your website. Some notable clients that you guys have played for: Bill Parcells, Wayne Gretzky, Brian Leach, Rick Pitino, Joe Pepitone, Whitey Ford, Bobby Valentine, Brett Saberhagen, and Mike Francesa.
Yep.
Which one of these guys was the biggest dick? No, you don't have to answer that.
Well, I'll tell you who the best was.
I'm going to guess it was Pepitone.
He was, but and I had a lot more contact with him than the other guy, Whitey Ford.
Really?
Nicest guy that you ever want to meet.
Really?
Pepitone was, he was exactly as advertised, but he was great. He actually played his daughter's wedding.
Wow.
And at Leonard's of Great Neck, and Whitey Ford was one of the guests, and he came up to me up the set. He goes, "No, I don't love you guys. Do you do any swing dance like Bobby Darin?" And of course we did. And yeah, those are some of the greats. All of them are great. But Mike Francesa, his wedding was at a place called La Stresa in Port Washington or Manhasset. And at his wedding was Jim Nance, and Parcells was his best man. That's how.
Right. Yeah.
That's where that picture comes from. Bobby Valentine was a guest at this fundraiser we used to do every year at Leonard's. So I met him there. Another swing dance guy. And he was married to Ralph Branca's daughter.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. Who else did you mention there? Brian Leach. We did his wedding in it was in Cape Cod.
Wow.
And the first guest to walk into the cocktail hour that me and my keyboard playing were doing was Wayne Gretzky.
Jeez. How'd you hook up with all these sports figures? Was it?
You know what? Because the Leach thing came through Lynn and Brett, because Lynn was really good friends with, I think her last name was O'Neill, her maiden name, who married Brian Leach.
Oh, okay.
And then through Brett, I got to hang out in Manhattan with Larry Walker.
Yeah.
Well, I've always been a music and sports guy. So even in high school, when I was still like playing, not as good as I want to, as far as sports go, I was good friends with all the jocks in high school, and I still am.
That's So that must be wild to be at these functions and this. I mean, there must have been some of the biggest names at sports at all these occasions.
They were, and I don't take it for granted. I mean, as it was happening, I can remember going, "Take this in."
Right. Yes.
It's not always going to be this way.
I tell it to everybody. I summer of 23, I got to sit down and interview Mookie Wilson, and my all-time favorite Met. And I'm telling you,
great guy.
I'm telling you, it was like Mookie, and when I met Spanky from the Little Rascals, that was like meeting Santa Claus, man. I'm telling you, like those were such.
Oh, really? Spanky McFarlane.
Yeah. I don't get starstruck often, but yeah, Mookie, I was a little starstruck. Definitely with Spanky. And when I met Brian May and I met Mike Rutherford, I was starstruck when I met
from Genesis.
Yeah, Genesis.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a big Genesis guy, so that's like rock.
Okay.
That's rock British, British rock royalty right there,
Yeah, absolutely.
And speaking of Brian May, I do want to ask too. Another video we have of you
Brian
is
May.
Yeah.
You mention?
Yeah, when I met Brian May, when I met Mike Rutherford.
Okay.
I was like, holy, and Brian May he's like 7 feet tall. I was just like,
I met him too outside of BAB, which was and still is on Sunrise Highway in West Babylon.
Right.
I would hear when all these guys were coming in there. Greg Orman, I met.
Wow.
Steve Perry and Brian May, another one of the nicest guys. And I told him at the time that the song you're going to play was one of our big drawing cards. And Brian, we do the whole operatic section too with just 4 pieces. And he bends over, he goes, "Mate," he goes, "God bless you, mate."
Well, right. That's a video that I'm going to play. How? I mean, like you said, a 4-piece playing Bohemian Rhapsody. How were you guys working on that for months? I mean, that must have been really stressful.
I remember 5 separate rehearsals for it. Back in, I guess it was like the late 80s, maybe 1990. And I remember being in the sweaty basement with the low ceiling up, with the pipes dripping in like the burning heat, with the rest of the other three guys going, Joe, is it really worth it? I said, yes, it'll be worth it. It sounded horrible when we first started it. And then it took us about 5 or 6 plays out live. And then we finally got it. And I looked at the band. I go, this is going to be a big drawing card. And it was for many years.
I remember it.
With that lineup that I was telling you. The lineup that you see on the video.
Who's hitting the high notes in that version?
I'm hitting some of them, and the drummer, Charlie, who also, I should have sent you this link. Maybe we can look it up. He did one of the big drawing cards for him into our band. The fact that he was very versatile, could sing, and he looked good, was that he played and sang Rush.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's doing a lot of the high stuff, and then I'm doing the second highest part, and then Angus, the bass player, does the part underneath, and Keith, the keyboard player, usually did the parts.
Wow. All right.
But yeah, 5 rehearsals and then 5 or 6 times playing it out before we got it to sound like what you're going to play.
I give you credit. I'm sure a lot of people wouldn't even consider it. It takes a lot of balls, and you guys nailed it.
They wanted to kill me.
All right, here we are. Full House, Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh, now I know who this is, Frank.
Right now, we need y'all to help us out by singing along with this next song.
Is this a real life? Is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide, no escape from reality. Open your eyes, look up to the skies and see. I'm just a poor boy, I need no sympathy, because I'm easy come, easy go, little high, little low. Anyway the wind blows, doesn't really matter to me. Mama, I just killed a man, put a gun against his head, pulled my trigger, now he's dead. Mama,
No, Frank.
life had just begun.
This party invite, now I know who it is. It might turn into a gig for me.
Nice.
It's a retirement party for a guy who followed the band around for years.
Didn't mean to make you cry. If I'm not back again this time tomorrow, carry on, as if nothing really matters. It's too late. My time is gone. Send shivers down my spine. Body's aching all the time. Goodbye, everybody. I've got to go. Gotta leave you all behind and face the truth. The wind blows. I don't wanna die. So go. Still let it go. Still let it go. Let it go. Mamma mia, mamma mia, mamma mia, let me go. So you think you could stop me and spit in my eye? So you think you could love me and leave me to die? Oh, baby, can't do this to me, baby. Just gotta get out. I just gotta get right out of here. Nothing really matters. Anyone can see. Nothing really matters. Nothing really matters.
Still going?
Getting toward the end.
Oh, okay.
Those harmonies, oh my god.
That was another thing. All the time it took me to figure out those harmonies. And I heard the isolated tracks like years later. One of my soundmen had the isolated, and I'm like, wow, I nailed it. Because a lot of times the parts seem to like come together. So, but with my headphones and many hours, I deciphered it.
I'll ask you about that in a second.
That's go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, we're on now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, did you write those harmonies out, or did you just...
Well, I wrote them out in my chicken scratch. What I would do is I would write out the lyric. Underneath the lyric, in each syllable, I had the high part. Right below that, I had the next slowest part, the next slowest part, the next slowest part.
Wow.
And so really only I could decipher it. But that was enough because I was able to show them the parts.
Wow. I mean, and on musical terms, some of those harmonies are like on sevenths and close together like that.
Oh,
That's
yes.
amazing that you get it.
Sometimes they're close together, sometimes they cross.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But I, in some cases, I couldn't do it exactly because they had many more than just 4 tracks.
Right.
I couldn't do it exactly but I adapted it so it would sound as close as possible.
Absolutely.
For
it
voice.
worked. Definitely worked.
And it worked. And then my sound man at the time, Steve Porcelli from EKO, was like a fifth member in the band.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, the real Queen didn't even do that operatic section live.
Yeah,
I was telling Frank that I met Brian May at BAB, probably like mid or late 90s. I told him it was part of our repertoire and that we did that operatic part. And he's like 6'6". He bends over, he shakes my hand, he goes, "God bless you, mate."
Yeah, really. Holy cow.
Because I'm sure they didn't even know what they sang. They were just like Freddie Mercury going, "Okay, you sing this here."
Right.
Yeah.
We have John in Florida says, wow, what talent. Ann in California says, feeling your heart and soul on this. Where have you been all my life? She says. Wow.
Well, tell them going down to Florida. Actually, I'm going to be a part of that Beatles on the Beach festival too, which is Thursday, March 6th through Sunday, March 9th.
And where's that? Down in Florida as well?
It's in Del Rey. I just talked to the guy who founded it and organized it, and he said it was a little late. He goes, "I don't know if I'll be able to pay you, but I'd love for you to come and be a part of the jam." So I'm gonna do that regardless of whether there's
That's
any money.
great.
Like I said, Thursday the 6th through Sunday the 9th, and it's in Delray. It's called Beatles on the Beach.
That's great. And, yeah, you'll be down there already because you're playing in Boca on March 2nd. Tomorrow night, where are you playing?
Nowhere tomorrow, but Friday I'm doing that solo thing. That
Yeah, tomorrow's Friday, pal.
Yes, then tomorrow too. Yeah, Friday, what is it, December 7th? I'm at a great restaurant called Sea Levels in Bright Waters from 7 to 10 doing my solo thing.
Very nice. We're talking
Great
to...
food.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Great food.
Oh, great food.
people,
Okay.
And the music will be pretty good too.
Excellent. Yeah, we're hanging out with Joe Scollo of the band Full House and a bunch of other things. We're going to play the US-UK Classic Rock video in a minute. Before I do that, I want to run I looked on Facebook. I do this with a lot of my guests. I look on Facebook, and I look up mutual friends that we have, and I'm just going to throw some...
I watched the Wonder Story, so go ahead.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. Actually, the first name I'm bringing up, I'm actually going to bring up two names together, and I have a question about them. And I'm talking about your brother, Paul, and his wife, Colleen. How come you guys don't play? Now, let me just say, I've seen his Van Morrison thing. It is fantastic.
Yep. Well, he's Van Morrison, Dylan, Tom Waits. Those are his men, and yeah, he does a great job on it.
It's amazing. I loved it. How come you guys don't do more together? Is it?
Well, you know what? It's funny you mention that because I just mentioned to him about 2 weeks ago that I want him to be on call as the bass player in the US-UK thing.
Nice.
Because my usual regular bass player, Phil, he's like a big corporate guy, and there's going to come times where he won't be able to make it, and that's what my brother plays now is bass, and he sings great. So there's your answer.
And then you have Colleen, who's a freaking powerhouse.
Well, they met. They've been married for about 5 years now, and they met at a Full House gig at I can't think of the name, Lawrence Country Club over in Five Towns. And I found this out after the fact because he was doing sound. And she was over there, and she was singing with us, and he was talking to her at the time. I found out when they got engaged that's where they hooked up.
Wow!
Nice.
So you're responsible for it.
Yes.
Very nice. All right. So who do I have here? Benny Rizzuti.
The name is familiar. I'm sure if I saw him, I'd know who it is, but without seeing a picture.
Okay, that's fine. Nope. Yeah, we're all victim of that.
Sorry, Benny.
Yeah, we become Facebook friends with people we don't know them. This one you'll probably know. Bob Nelson.
Oh, the comedian.
That's him. You're friends with him on Facebook.
I don't know him personally, but I know a lot of comedians that he knows. Richie Minervini. This guy Bruce Smirnoff is now working for a cruise agency down in Delray, who's sending his boss to see us on March 2nd.
Sweet.
Interested in booking that tribute for the cruises.
Oh, the cruises pay, man. So I hope you get that gig.
Well, I'm not going unless they do.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, the next name, I bet you know this name, Chris Shirata. Track 9?
Is that the name of the band?
Yes.
No. Again, I'm sure if I'd seen him and had a little background, I might.
Sure. All right, how about Jerry Ferretti?
Same thing.
Okay. Jan Close.
Jan Close is a guitarist singer who does originals, right?
That is correct.
I don't know him, but I know of him, and I know that he's supposed to be great.
All right, Jesse Viteri.
Another one that sounds familiar. But
wow, I'm striking out.
On,
He's the drummer in Pine Street. I don't know if that helps you.
No, but okay. I know Jules Rodino, who plays with Blue Oyster Cult, plays drums.
Okay, great.
Danny Miranda, who plays with Blue Oyster Cult and played with Queen.
He used to play with Queen, right?
I know them pretty well.
The current bass player in Queen is a close friend of mine. He's great. All right, how about Jim Celentano?
I know the name from Facebook, and I'm sure I met him before, but
All right. I got two more names. Actually, three more names.
How about Mike Flint's?
Mike Flint's great guitar player.
Great guitar player, great guy.
He's been in this room.
One of the best, actually, that I've met in this business.
And he's been in this room with his wife, and she not only a great singer, but just one of the coolest women I think I've ever met.
Both of them.
Yes,
and,
absolutely.
Okay, I'll throw two in there. Now that we mentioned Mike, I think I mentioned before George Cintron and Randy Jackson. As far as great musicians, who are also great people.
Yeah, who is George Cintron? I know that name. I can't place it.
He had a band going almost back as far as us, probably back as far to the late 70s, called Cintron. And he does those the Zeppelin when they play with orchestras like nationally, where Randy sings and George plays guitar.
Okay, yeah.
That'll give you an inkling of how great George is.
Well, when you guys aren't afraid of the weather and can come in here, bring Randy Jackson in here with you one of these days.
Maybe I'll bring Randy and George.
That would be fantastic. Get you guys to play in the studio.
We're talking about booking some duos and trios coming into the spring and fall. So
sweet.
I will definitely do that. Let me just mention. I just want to squeeze this in. I know it's getting late. As far as our female singers go, we had Lynn, who was great. Then we had Jennifer Cella, who you saw on The Whole New World. You know who Jen is? She's doing the. You should get her on the show. She's doing the Adele tribute now.
Oh, that's her. Oh, I've seen videos. I'm friends with Caroline Purr, who sings background in that.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I saw them not even a year ago at my father's place. I went. Great. Jen is great. And then after Jen was Jill Joya.
Oh, Jill is amazing.
And both them left when they left our band. Jen did the Trans-Siberian Orchestra on the East Coast, and Jill did the West Coast.
And speaking of which, Frank and I, Al Petrelli, who's the guitar player in Trans-Siberian, he also played with Zappa and he played with a bunch of people. He's from our hometown. We used to know we knew his father. His father was
Al's great.
Yeah, Al's great.
And let me just mention, after Jill, well, a little after, was Janessa Escobar, who sang with Decadia for years.
Oh, okay, yeah, right, yeah.
So we've always had beautiful and very talented female singers.
I will admit that went through my head with all these names. I'm like, wow, all these girls are so hot. That was going through my head. Okay. We are running out of time, and I want to go ahead.
Before you play that video, can I do like a little piece of a song or no?
Oh yeah, you want to play live? Absolutely.
Yeah, that's why I got this.
Oh, I didn't know you had it. Okay, yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'll just do a shortened version of "Here Comes the Sun." Right?
Sounds good to me.
Cool.
Can you hear this?
No.
You know what? Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to get my amp out.
All right.
Okay.
So okay.
All right.
A little more than 2 seconds.
So, we're hanging out with Joe Scollo, who is playing tomorrow night, and he's playing down in Florida in March. Go check him out. Check out the US UK classic rock band. Check out
Classic Rock Show.
Classic Rock Show. Excuse me. Check out Full House, the band. What? So is it the UK rockshow.com?
No, there's no separate. There's no separate
website. Oh, so it's just Joe Scollo?
The website fullhousemusic.com. They can check out, and there's an image right on the homepage of the US UK. The US UK is the one that's down in Florida in Boca on Sunday, March 2nd. I'm doing the solo thing tomorrow, Friday, the 7th at Sea Levels in Brightwaters, 7 to 10. And the other thing that I just wanted to mention is we're doing a Full House reunion with Epi at my father's place.
Nice.
And that's Saturday, May 18th. And we're going to be bringing back a lot of the former members in the band for that show.
Oh, that's fun. That'll be great.
Hopefully Jen Cello will be there. Hopefully Tommy Burns too.
Oh, very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's great. I'll have to try and get to that.
Plugging in here. Yeah. And sorry about that.
No, it's cool. It's totally cool. Frank, while we're waiting, so we mentioned it before. Who's joining us next Thursday?
Next week is Richie Naso.
The other guitarist in the US UK tribute.
Very nice. Excellent.
And every other band on Long Island too.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. Another one.
Well,
of these guys.
he plays in the Eagles tribute band. What do they call it?
Fast Lane?
Desert Highway.
Desert Highway.
And also the Bowie tribute with Ed Ryan.
Right.
Bowie Station.
Right. Oh, okay.
One of the stories once in a while too.
Yep. Okay. Don't mind this.
Go ahead.
There we go.
Cool.
Now. Whoa. Should have been prepared. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
Okay, let's see if I can get. Hey, I'm gonna face it that way. You can hear that, right? Wait a minute. I'll play a little bit louder. No?
You know, a few weeks ago on one of the other shows, Sports Bash with Peter Schwartz. In fact, he's coming on at 1:00 today. A few weeks ago, he had Del Judas on as his guest. We had the same issue. It must be a Zoom thing with frequencies or something.
Yeah.
Because Mike played live and we couldn't hear his guitar. He sang, but we couldn't hear his guitar, and that's what's happening now.
Let me strum one more time. Tell me if you hit it. Nothing.
Nothing.
No.
Take the capo off. I'll do something different. No.
Nothing.
No.
All right.
Very weird.
I know it's getting late now.
Sorry. I mean, we heard a little bit on the promo video of you doing "Here Comes the Sun," but I appreciate you trying. What was it? FullHouseMusic.com.
FullHouseMusic.com.
Right. So go to FullHouseMusic.com and go check out Joe. He's got a lot of dates, and it's all great stuff. I'm going to play out, to take us out, I'm going to play the US-UK Classic Rock Show. Real quick, before we go, don't forget, here at Governors, we got Robert Kelly this weekend. We got Mike Feeney at the Brokerage. We got J.J. Ramirez at McGuire's. We got Terry McNeely at McGuire's with Tony Landolfi, Joe Winchell, Billy Geyer, Rob White. Let's see. And then today is what's today? Today is Thursday. So we got, like I said, Sports Bash coming up at 1:00. Kenny Albert is one of the guests. Eric Coleman, former Jet, is one of the guests. And there is a third guest. Forgive me, I don't remember who it is. And then we have tonight at 8:00, Primal Scream with Nick Greystone, Coffee with the Dog tomorrow at 9, and then me and Rosie will be back tomorrow morning at 11. Joe, thank you very much for your time. This was a lot of fun.
Really, my pleasure. I'm glad you guys asked me.
Good, and we look forward to having you in the studio and having you play. Thanks for your time,
Absolutely.
and we'll see you again. We're going to play the video to take us out. Thank you, pal.
Have a great one.
You too, buddy. Thank you very much. See if I can find it. Where'd it go? There it is. Okay, playing it now.
Somewhere.
Thank you, guys.
Come on now, touch me, baby.
Thanks, Frank.
Can't you see that
I'll chat
I
with you in a
am
minute.
not afraid?
Okay, yeah. You know what? This time,
What was that?
you want to give me a call on myself.
Okay.
Whatever.
Why won't you tell me what she said? What was that promise that you made? Wake up, Maggie, I think I got something to say to you. It's late September and I really should be back at school. No, I keep you amused, but I feel like being used. Oh, baby, this town rips the bones from your back. It's a death trap, it's a suicide trap. We gotta get out while we're young. 'Cause tramps like us, baby, we were born to run. Just let me hear some of that rock and roll music. Any old way you choose it. It's got a bad beat, you can't lose it. Any old working on a night move, trying to make some front page driving news, working on a night move. In the summertime, band on the run, band on the run, band on the run, band on the run. Saturday in the park, I think it was the 4th of July. Saturday in the park, I think it was the 4th of July. One thing I can tell you is you got to be free. Come together right now over me. Take a load off Fanny, take a load free, take a load off Fanny, and you put the load right on me. And you start me up, and you start me up, but never stop, never stop, never, never, never stop. You make a grown man cry, you make a grown man cry.
Oh.
Everybody,
Frank, I thought this was Teddy Pendergrass.
and return me my ship.
Isn't that
I'm
what
your
it said on the ID?
I'm your captain. Smoke on the water, fire in the sky. Smoke on the water. You made me so very happy. I'm so glad you came into my life. Brown sugar, how come you taste so good? Brown sugar, just like a young girl should. How does it feel? How does it feel? Be on your own with no direction home, like a complete unknown, like a rolling stone. Every time I had my share, but my woman left home with a brown-eyed man. She don't seem to care. Oh yeah, life goes on long after the thrill of living is gone. Oh yeah, I said life goes on long after the thrill of living is gone. I'm gonna sit back, right easy and laugh when the scooter and the big man was a city in half. 10th Avenue, breathe out, say it again. Long live life, I need it every night. Long live life, come on and join the night. Long live life, be dead or alive. We were singing bye bye Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Then good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing this'll be the day that I die.